Hi everybody, welcome back to tnoozLIVE at the Aviation Festival, presented by JetBlue Technology Ventures and sponsored by Travel Air. Martin Cowan, Editorial Director for T-News. On the sofa with me today, I've got Gabrielle Kobrin from Riskified. It's a business we've worked with quite a lot in the past on T-News, but on the off chance that tnoozLIVE viewers don't know what Riskified does, just give us a brief idea and then we'll get into the questions.
Sure. So, nice to see you again, Martin.
Thank you.
Riskified is a fraud solution, and basically our number one goal is to make sure that customers aren't declining good orders. So our goal is to increase revenue by providing a very accurate fraud solution that can detect genuine customers and fraudsters.
Okay, so that's targeted down to the individual transaction level. So it's working out whether a transaction is fraud.
We use sophisticated machine learning technology to do this. And it's all automated, so we instantly say to a customer, approve or decline after the review. Okay, and
data breaches, they're in the news at the moment, coincidentally. I mean, is that something that you look at, or is it more a sort of straightforward fraud than a hack that you're alleged hack?
Yeah, so take a step back. The reason why fraud is becoming more and more difficult for merchants to manage is two reasons. One, the fraud landscape is becoming a lot more complex. Fraudsters are getting more sophisticated, there's more data breaches out there, and it's harder for merchants whose focus is travel, retail, to manage fraud internally. Okay. And the second thing is the changing business requirements. So, in the travel industry, we've been speaking to people today, and their key goal seems to be international expansion, opening new routes, localized sites, things like that. So they're competing business requirements, and the changing fraud landscape is becoming harder and harder for merchants to distinguish between good orders and bad ones.
So when you mean merchant, that's the payment provider that the airline uses to take the payment. Okay.
So it's the airline.
Okay.
So we work direct with Riskified works across industries. Yeah. So we're working in fashion, travel, remittance, ticketing, etc. So here it would be, an airline that we work with, or an online travel agent.
Okay, so is fraud more intense in travel than the other sectors Riskified works in?
I'd say it's definitely more complex.
Yeah.
If you're selling a handbag, you've got a lot more data points to look at. You've got a shipping address, which is helpful and an important data point. When you're selling something digital, there's less data to work with. And also in the travel industry in particular, there's lots of geographical mismatches that are the norm. So if you've got a customer selling a handbag, let's say, you expect some of the geographical data points to match, like the billing address, the shipping address, where the credit card has been issued. But in travel, most of the orders have a mismatch. I'm sitting in Paris, I'm using my credit card from Tel Aviv to book a flight to London. Okay. So dealing with this complexity is difficult for merchants.
I mean, so those sorts of incongruous patterns are what your machine learning tech picks up?
Exactly, in real time. So often a merchant, a retailer, an airline will have people doing manual review. Okay. So they'll look at an order and they'll try to understand what are these mismatches. But it's not very scalable, and in travel in particular, it's not good because it takes time. Yeah. So if someone's booking a last-minute flight, their order cannot go to a manual review queue. So Riskified really helps here by giving an automated instant decision of saying approve or decline.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of the traffic that you've been getting to the stand here at this event, I mean, what are the conversations that you're having with airline partners, maybe that you weren't having a year or so ago? I mean, how has the conversation shifted?
So I think something that's becoming more and more important is the customer experience. You can see here, just by all the airlines that are here, the competition is really tough. Yeah. And if I go onto your website and have a bad experience trying to book a flight, I'll just go to an online travel agent and book the exact same thing within 2 minutes. So customers are not, airlines are not coping well with the manual review element and realizing that they can't reach out to customers to verify booking. And they're also so far been relying on 3D Secure a lot, which creates a lot of customer friction and a lot of drop-off. So that's a topic that's becoming more and more relevant. How can we automate fraud prevention to not hinder the customer journey on the website?
Okay, so generally, I mean, is this sort of the manual review process, I mean, is that still basically baseline how airlines operate, or are they? I find it quite surprising that in the 2018 that there's still manual processes that could be automated that haven't been.
Yeah, I think for airlines, they went online sort of before anyone else, so they had to have a fraud solution from day one. And what was on the market then were these legacy tools. That the technology's clunky, it's based on rules, it gives you scoring that leads to manual review. It's not surprising that the airlines do a lot of manual review, even though really they shouldn't be doing any because of the industry that they're in.
Yeah, so it's almost like a legacy technology and a legacy mindset is still keeping the manual review in process. So, over the next couple of years, I mean, what can the airline industry do to sort of combat fraud, or is it almost like a constant battle to stay ahead of what bad actors, I think is the phrase that's used, what the fraudsters, criminals are basically doing. So how can airlines stay ahead?
So I think that the question is, to an airline, what does the fraud landscape look like, and what are your business requirements, and do you have the right technology and solution to help you today, in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, and do you need to go towards a more innovative solution that uses, machine learning, that's real time, and make that judgment call themselves. One thing that's also a couple more things that are unique about Riskified is, if you're giving an airline an answer of approve or decline, they need to know that it's very accurate. So what Riskified does is stand behind its decisions. If we tell a merchant, approve this transaction, we think it's a good transaction, we give them a full liability shift. So if that booking came back as a chargeback, we cover the cost of that. And at the same time, we don't charge them for any orders that we decline. So we're really incentivized to approve as much as possible, but be very accurate while we do it. Because we're liable for the chargeback. So it's a model, it's a new model, and it's really making sure that your fraud partner is aligned with your business goals. So that's the question to the airline. Have you got a fraud partner who is really trying to increase your approval rates, make sure you're not turning away good customers, giving them a great experience online, and at the same time, making sure that you don't lose revenue to chargebacks?
Well, and I think that it's one of the many interesting aspects of the whole digitization of the airline industry, and something I found, and it's not just with airlines, but it's in travel, is there seems to be the actual end of the funnel, the actual press the button to buy now, seems to be sort of quite overlooked, and it's maybe because it's not as glamorous or as exciting as sort of like search engine marketing or whatever. But it's so important, because if you decline a valid customer, then all the money that you've spent acquiring that customer has gone, and if it's a false decline, then that customer is pretty fed up with the airline, and as you said, will go to an OTA and tell all their friends, and there's reputation there. So I mean, I just think, I think it's an underexposed part of what every airline needs to be looking at.
You've hit the nail on the head, because it's not only that one transaction, it's the lifetime value of that customer.
That's another phrase. I've heard that phrase quite a few times today, the lifetime value of the customer. I think that airlines are becoming more aware of the fact that a customer is, there is a lifetime value to a customer. If their first experience with you was a good one, chances are they will come back. But we're so sort of fickle these days in our consumption habits that if an airline upsets us, then that's it. We never fly with them again. All right. Well, look, Gabby, thanks very much for taking the time.
Thank you,
I know
Martin.
you've still got busy, even though the show's quieting down. The stand's really busy. So great. Okay, well listen, this is the final interview for tnoozLIVE at the Aviation Festival. Thank you very much to our principal sponsor, JetBlue Technology Ventures, and to Travelair as well, who've supported us on this. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I mean, we've talked to CEOs of big airlines, we've talked to nimble startups, we've talked to fraud prevention businesses. I'm trying to think of else. We've talked to IATA, and lots of other people who I probably can't remember at this time, but thank you very much for joining us, and tnoozLIVE will be back. Another event, another time, another place. Thank you very much. See you all shortly. Bye.